Arrowhead Stadium was shaking with noise. The Kansas City Chiefs were fighting through another tense primetime battle. Patrick Mahomes dropped back, scanning, pressure closing in, and just when the play seemed dead, he spotted the one man he trusted most. Travis Kelce cut across the back of the end zone, defender on his hip, eyes locked on the ball. Mahomes fired across his body, threading it through a window no one else would even attempt. The ball hit Kelce's hands, and in one motion, he secured it, spun, and crossed the line. Touchdown. History. The Chiefs' sideline exploded, and high above the field, Taylor Swift leapt from her suite, screaming in disbelief and joy as the crowd lost its mind. This was more than another score. It was the moment that sealed Kelce's place in history. His record-breaking touchdown had made him the most prolific receiver in Kansas City's long, proud history. It was the kind of play that reminded everyone why the Mahomes-Kelce connection is unlike anything else in football: chemistry, instinct, and trust that borders on telepathic. The season had not been an easy one. Critics questioned whether the Chiefs had lost their edge, whether defenses had finally figured out the magic that carried them through so many playoff runs. Mahomes had battled inconsistency. Young receivers were still finding their rhythm, and every mistake seemed amplified. But through the noise, through the doubts, one constant remained. When the game is on the line, Patrick Mahomes looks for number 87. Kelce's career has always been about defying expectations. He was never the fastest or the tallest, but his mind for the game made him unstoppable. The way he reads coverages, adjusts mid-route, and finds open space has turned him into the most dangerous safety valve in football. When others panic, Kelce improvises, and Mahomes always finds him. That night against the Giants, the moment built like a movie. The Chiefs' offense had struggled early. Drops, flags, frustration. The Giants' defense had done everything right for most of the night, and the crowd felt that familiar anxiety creeping in. But then came that final drive. Mahomes and Kelce moved down the field like it was clockwork. Each play chipped away at the defense's confidence. Each pass felt heavier than the last. And then, with the game on the line, came the throw. Mahomes fading right, defenders closing in, launching the ball toward the back of the end zone. Kelce, with his body twisted and arms extended, pulled it down through contact. The entire stadium seemed to pause for a split second before erupting in noise. Mahomes raised his arms. Kelce slammed the ball into the turf. It was a statement. The Chiefs weren't done, and neither was he. The cameras immediately found Taylor Swift in her suite, jumping, shouting, hands in the air. That one image went everywhere. It became part of the story, part of the spectacle. It wasn't just a football moment anymore. It was culture. It was celebrity. It was the NFL colliding with global entertainment. But beneath all that flash was the reality of what Kelce had just achieved. The record that once belonged to Tony Gonzalez, now his own. Years of work, surgeries, heartbreaks, triumphs, all culminating in that single play. Kelce walked to the sideline to cheers that felt endless. Teammates hugged him, coaches patted his helmet, and Mahomes grinned like a kid. There was no need for words. Everyone understood. These two had built something historic, a connection that defines an era of football. The Giants players could only shake their heads. They'd done everything right. Perfect coverage, disciplined rush, the kind of defensive effort coaches dream of. But against Mahomes and Kelce, perfection isn't enough. They thrive in chaos. They live for broken plays, for the split-second moments when everything seems impossible. That's when they're most dangerous. After the game, reporters swarmed the locker room. Mahomes gave the usual praise. That's just Trav being Trav. Kelce smiled and deflected credit. I just run my route. 15 makes the magic happen. But everyone knew what they'd just witnessed. Kelce had etched his name into NFL history not through luck or hype, but through sheer longevity, brilliance, and consistency. The TV's spotlight might have brought new attention, but Travis Kelce's career had been legendary long before that. He'd built a reputation as one of the most dominant and clutch tight ends the league had ever seen. And this moment was the exclamation mark. The stats tell one story: record catches, touchdowns, playoff dominance. But the impact goes deeper. Kelce changed what the position means. He's not just a tight end. He's an offensive weapon who forces defenses to reinvent themselves. Off the field, his confidence and personality made him a cultural icon. He dances after touchdowns, cracks jokes at pressers, shows up on Saturday Night Live, and somehow still manages to show up every Sunday like it's personal. The man enjoys every second, and that joy radiates through the Chiefs' offense. When he's smiling, the team feels unstoppable. That's why this touchdown felt bigger than just a number. It was the embodiment of everything that makes Kansas City great: talent, trust, timing, and pure love of the game. It's why fans adore this team. Because no matter how much the spotlight grows, the connection remains real. Weeks later, fans were still talking about it. Analysts broke down the mechanics of the play, defensive coordinators dissected it, and highlight reels replayed it endlessly. But the real magic can't be diagrammed. It's instinct. It's years of chemistry boiled down to 1 second. It's why Mahomes and Kelce will forever be mentioned among the great duos: Montana and Rice, Brady and Gronk, Peyton and Reggie. The touchdown also reignited a familiar debate. Have the Chiefs become the NFL's dynasty of the modern era? With multiple Super Bowls, constant playoff appearances, and moments like this, the answer feels obvious. Every time the world starts to doubt them, they find another reason to believe. Every time the league tries to move on, Mahomes and Kelce write another chapter. In the weeks that followed, the Chiefs turned that moment into momentum. The locker room rallied around it. The noise, the hype, the viral clips, they didn't distract, they fueled the fire. Kansas City looked sharper, hungrier, more locked in. And for Kelce, the record wasn't a finish line. It was a reminder that there's still more to chase. He knows the window doesn't stay open forever. Bodies age, defenses adapt, and eras change. But legacy, that's what lasts. And for Travis Kelce, that legacy is already carved in stone. Every young tight end studying tape knows it. Every defensive coordinator preparing for the Chiefs feels it. Every fan watching that touchdown that night understood it. As the lights dimmed over Arrowhead, Kelce jogged off the field, helmet in hand, soaking in the roar of 70,000 fans chanting his name. It was one of those rare sports moments that cut through the noise of fame and spectacle and reminded everyone what greatness really looks like. A player at the height of his powers, a team still writing its legend, and a night when football and culture collided in the most unforgettable way. Travis Kelce's record-breaking touchdown wasn't just a play. It was proof that the Chiefs' magic is still alive, and that sometimes history happens when talent, timing, and pure heart all meet in one perfect second.